referendum. Is there merit in amending the BBI report ahead of the planned referendum?
Well, the BBI has certainly been a source of fodder. We'd love to hear what you have to say about this. SMS us 22155 is the SMS line, or you can tweet it, or tweet us rather, at KTN News, at Ashley Mazuri, at the Jesse Rogers. Kindly use the hashtag Friday Briefing for easier tracking of your tweets. We'll sample them as we continue with the broadcast. Well, away from the BBI, President Uhuru Kenyatta, in his 2020 State of the Nation address Thursday, focused on the Big Four agenda, which was initiated in 2017.
However, the four-point agenda has had its fair share of execution challenges, coupled with the COVID-19 pandemic, as his second term nears the penultimate stretch. So did the government bite more than it could chew with fulfilling the promise? Well, our reporter George Maringa interrogates.
When President Uhuru Kenyatta arrived at Kasarani Stadium for his second inauguration ceremony on 28 November 2017, he came bearing goodies for the nation.
I, Uhuru Kenyatta.
He would on this day spell out how he intended to steer his second five-year term, which morphed into the Big Four agenda.
We will target manufacturing. As you know, our manufacturing sector is the primary vehicle for creation of decent jobs.
2 years later, in 2019, affordable housing, one of the key pillars, would face a bumpy ride after the courts halted a mandatory 1.5% levy the government was banking on to fundraise for the 500,000 houses plan. However, in his seventh State of the Nation address at Parliament this year, the president cautioned Kenyans over expectations on his administration's ability to deliver the Big Four agenda, saying it may not be realistic to achieve the same within one term.
We gave a solemn promise that by the end of 2022, we would have laid an unshakable foundation for the realization of this vision.
It is now emerging that the government may have bitten more than it could chew.
In fact, one of the consensus out there is, had the government incentivized the private sector to do affordable housing, the private sector would have done it possibly faster, more efficiently, and using less government resources.
The Big Four agenda, food security, manufacturing, universal healthcare and affordable housing, were Uhuru's official blueprint. With a soaring public debt among other factors that have crippled the economy, experts advise there would be a different way of doing things. President
Kenyatta also needs a form of a brain trust to be able to work through, because there's a lot happening in the country. And if you don't tap on the brain trust of the country, we might not get to where we need to be.
On the flip side, there have been several gains, such as manufacturing, with revival of textile industry Rivertex. However, a good business environment, experts argue, would jumpstart the near-stalling engine.
So what we really need to know is, how do we get entrepreneurs to start these manufacturing companies you're talking about, to start the food security, to start these homes, because these companies can hire people and create employment.
With a hurting economy emerging from past and current hurdles, the president's work is definitely cut out for him, and it remains to be seen what percentage his government will score come 2022. The Big Four agenda has dominated President Uhuru Kenyatta's second term in office, with strides made and teething problems in the four-point agenda and approximately 700 days in office. It is easy to see why the president wants to fervently deliver on his 2017 promise to Kenyans. George Maringa, KTN News in Nairobi.